What's up, everybody? It's Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today's day 38 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, mental clarity, and overall focus. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like the content, be sure to like and comment below. That'll help me reach more people with this content. And look, guys, today is about a hidden secret that's draining your energy that most people don't know about, and to be honest with you, most people don't want to know about. And this is it. It is, if you don't plan your day, it's going to cost you mental energy. Like, the key to having energy throughout your day and kind of being excited about your day, so much hinges on having a plan. But when society has conditioned us to think about people who plan out their days or have plans as being rigid, and all these negative thoughts, I guess, go along with that. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a plan for your day, you're going to waste time, you're going to procrastinate, and then you're going to end up in a situation where you're having to rush and you're having to do all these things, things that, well, it goes from I want to, I get to I have to, I must, right? And those have tos and musts are negative mental thoughts, and it's just a negative mental drain, because now you're forced to do this versus doing it on your own will. And so when you accomplish it, you're not getting the full benefit from it. And so, you know, one of the things that I've noticed in my own life is when it comes to weekends. And you know, I have two small children, and you know, I work full-time. Well, I work more than full-time. I've got a business, but my wife works full-time, then I run a business. So our weekends are super hectic, and there's always a million things to do. But if we don't stick to have a plan for the day, or really for the weekend, and if we don't stick to the plan, like if we get our morning off just by fumbling through the day, it just creates so much chaos and so much of an energy suck that you're almost ready for Monday to come along, because you're just so zapped of energy from the weekend. And what I've come to the conclusion in my own life is that, you know, when we get to the weekend, it's like, oh, we get a break, we get to recover, we get to rest, right? So what do? We tend to stay up a little later on Friday night. We tend to sleep in. Then as a fact, like, we tend to sleep in a little later on Saturday morning. And then usually Sunday morning too, but we'll stick to Saturday. So Saturday morning you sleep in a little bit, and then you're like, well, you know, I've been just go all week, so I want to kind of relax, I want to take it easy, right? And when you've got kids, you can't really do that. You know, when you own a house and you got to take care of things, you can't really do that. When you run a business and you still got work that needs to be done, and it's Saturday, and now you've got all these other demands, you can't really do that. And so what happens is you kind of lull into that and fall into that trap, and it is a trap. Because what happens is you kind of start your day, number one, your day's off because you didn't stick to your routine. You know, you didn't stick to it, you didn't have a plan, you're just kind of winging this, shooting from the hip when you get there. And so you're kind of fumbling through. Next thing you know, it's like 8, 9, 10 in the morning, and you feel like a big part of your day's gone. You just feel disoriented, you feel out of place, and now you're trying to get things done. Next thing you know, you're not really have a plan, so you're just winging it. And what almost always happens every single time is I end up stressed at the end of the day with this big list of stuff. I'm trying to give everything I've got to get it done by the end of the day, and I have no time to rest at the end. And if I do, I'm so wiped out, I usually just fall asleep. And so I end up putting myself in a more stressful situation because I'm being reactive the whole day, right? So these things of, I get to do this, or I'm going to knock this out, like it's my choice, I'm choosing to do this, turns into, well, if I don't get this done, I'm going to be doing it during the week, and I don't have time to do it during the week, so now I've got to get it done. I've only got a few hours to do it, and it just becomes this mental chore in my head. And I think these have tos and musts are such a negative mental drain, versus when we consciously, you know, you get into psychology, but when we consciously choose to do something, and it's our choice and it's our own free will to do it, like it's exciting and it's energizing. But when you have to, and when it's out of your control, then it's kind of energy draining, just the mental conversations in your head. You know, you're still going to get a little mental high from the accomplishment, but it's going to be nowhere near if you attack this stuff at your own free will and get get it done and accomplish it, right? Every task you get, you're getting a little win in your head, and you're getting a little high in your head, and you kind of got to become addicted to that outcome instead of focus on the negative of the work. But that's kind of a different topic. So the big thing today is, like, you've got to have a plan for your day, and it doesn't matter whether you work, and whether you work for yourself or if you're working for a company and they're kind of flying by the seat of their pants, and you have to do things on, like, you've got to formulate a plan. And when you have a plan, it gives you something to focus on and something to attack, and then you know everything you need to get done so you can better manage your time. But the big thing is, you know what to do so you're not wasting time, right? But also, it's going to energize you, and it's going to give you mental energy, because now you don't have to think about what to do. Because when you're flying by the seat of your pants, like, you've got all these random thoughts, and so your brains can never really rest. But when you know what you got to do, it's like, okay, well, I can just focus on this one task, knock it out, move to the next one, like, knock it out, move to the next one, knock it out, and I'm going to be done. Like, there's an end in sight, there's clear direction, like clear task, and your brain likes that. And it's going to give you a lot more energy. It's going to give you clarity, energy, like hope, like we can see light at the end of the tunnel, whereas you're just flying by the seat of your pants, and you've got all these things you're going to get done, and like you're just kind of taking them as they come, and you don't really have a plan formulated. Like, you're having to constantly think about this stuff. Like, you're wasting time thinking, and you're burning mental energy. Like, any time that you can not have to think about doing something and just do it, like, you're going to conserve so much energy, and it's going to be so much more empowering, and it's going to have more energy for other things, because you're not wasting your energy in that indecision. I did another video on indecision, and I'll link that in the bottom. I don't know, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now at this point. I can't keep up with it, but I did a video on indecision and how it's kind of drains you. And that's what's happening, because you're in this constant state of indecision instead of having a clear plan and a clear path. You know, you're having steps to take, actions to do, which you can just knock them out, move to the next, knock it out, move to the next, and each one of those little ones is giving you a win, right? But when you don't, and you're just shooting from your pants, or shooting from the seat of your pants. So when you're doing that, you just kind of knock one off, and then, okay, well, that's kind of nice, but you don't have a bigger picture in your mind of the bigger scheme of things, and you don't even really know how many things you have left to do if you've got a bunch of things at the end of that day. So you can't really get a visual mentally, and it's hard to wrap your mind around it. So look, guys, if you want more energy, you've got to have a plan to your day. And I know when we get into the weekends, for us that work, 5 days a week, or have weekdays and have families, and then kind of family time on the weekends, like, even that family time on the weekend, if you're not careful, it's going to suck you, and you're never going to have time to fully recover. And energy recovery is so huge. But if you're constantly stressed, like, at the end of the day, and you never really, because what happens is you get on a reactive cycle instead of proactive cycle. So end of the week rolls around, and you take off the gas just a little bit, and next thing you know, you're reactive throughout the whole weekend. Instead of being proactive and getting to bed early on Friday, treating it like a normal day, or maybe even planning out your Saturday, like, what am I going to get done, and have that for you even wake up. So then when it comes time to wake up, you know exactly what you got to do, which is going to energize you, because it's going to give you clarity, instead of waking up saying, oh, I got all this stuff to do, I don't even know what I got to do, and I got to figure out what to do and all this stuff, right? You kind of have a general idea in your head, but you don't have no clarity. If you can get that clarity the night before, I'm going to get this and knock this out, then you wake up the next day, you go knock that out. Next thing you're done, you're done with everything that you've got to get done. If you can control the time, and all that's within your control, meaning you don't have any, I guess, if you got kids, maybe games to go to or those sort of things, you just have to work around. But if all these things is within your control of the time, you could easily be done by 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and then you have the rest of the day to just turn off and just kind of be and rejuvenate and restore. Whereas you stay up later on Friday, right? Because it's your time to relax, like you've earned it, and you do all these justifications in your mind, and you don't create a plan. You stay up later, you sleep in later, you wake up without a plan, you kind of just fumble through, kind of hang out with the kids because you feel guilty because you don't hang out with them, eat breakfast, whatever it is you do. Next thing you know, it's 9, 10 o'clock. By the time you get around starting at 10 or 11, like, you don't even really feel like it, you're just kind of fumbling through it, right? And then so you've got to make up all this time when you could be done at like 12, 1, 2, and then you could spend the whole evening relaxed, and you would feel better mentally because you've accomplished everything. because even when you're hanging out with the kids in the morning doing the things, whatever it is, you've always got that in the back of your mind that you've got to do. So that's just kind of that constant nag and drain on your energy, because you know you can't really fully enjoy that moment, because you know you've got this big old to-do list that you're avoiding and probably procrastinating on in your head. When if you could just do it and have a plan and knock it out in the morning, it would be done. You know, maybe early afternoon, maybe late afternoon, either way, that's done. Even if it's in the evening, but you've got, you know, 3, 4, 5 hours where you can give your kids 100% of your attention. You can give your wife 100% of your attention. You can just completely just relax and just be and just enjoy, you know, the moment of whatever it is you're doing, instead of being stressed, right? And if you procrastinate and you put this stuff off because you don't have a plan, there's never that, you know, there's never that relaxation, because it's always in the back of your head. And so even if you plan out, okay, I'm going to do this much on Saturday and this much on Sunday, you know, you break it up. You've got a clear plan. So guys, that kind of pertains to the weekends, and that's something that's very relevant with me, and it's something that I've fumbled for a lot of years. I've also fumbled it in work during the weekdays, and it's something I've been on top of, and then I've fumbled, and I've been on top of, and I've fumbled. And I'm telling you, it's just as important in your work day to approach it and have a plan. Like, sit down at the end of the day and make a list of what you want to do the next day, or just have a plan before you get done that day. You know, part of your ending routine with your work is to schedule and plan your next day. If not, first thing in the morning, like, kind of plan out your task you want to do. I usually end up doing that, but I like to do it better in the evenings. It's just I have a hard time getting that done. So usually because I'm stressed in the evenings, right? Because I didn't, you know, fully attack like I should have, or I didn't have a full plan. So guys, anytime you can do this stuff and just have a plan going into the day, you know what you need to do when you wake up. So you're not in that uncertain state. You're not in that state of indecision. What should I do? Like, whatever these thoughts are that's just sucking your energy. Like, you're going to have a clear plan of attack, and I can't tell you how much it's going to energize you. And I know you may be thinking I'm full of it right now, but I'm telling you, try and see. Just try and see, because you're going to have so much of a victory. You're going to feel so good at the end, like when you've got this stuff done, and then you can really truly relax, because until it's done, you're never ever going to be able to truly relax. Even if you take time before you start on it, like, you know, it's just that weight and that nagging is going to be there in your head. And you know, where I really learned this was from 75 Hard, is because you've got to do all these tasks. You know, you've got to do 2 45-minute workouts. One of them has to be outside. You've got to drink a gallon of water. You've got to read 10 pages in a book. Like, you've got to do all these things. You got to stick to a meal plan, which means you're going to have to plan for your diet, and you're going to have to, you know, prep some things and plan ahead. And so through that process, it's really hard if you're shooting from your hip and you don't attack this stuff first thing in the morning and get a lot of it and start getting this stuff going in the morning. It's very, very hard, right? It's 75 Hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's a mental toughness challenge, but you're using a lot of physical things to figure out that mentally. But if you don't plan it out, and if you don't start your day, if you don't plan out your day and start it on task, like, it's a beast to get it done by the end of the day. And so going through the experience, 75 Hard, like, I've started, I think I'm on day 7. I'm not even 100% day 7, I think, right now, of 75. It's like I'm coming back into that, because I find myself, if I don't get this in the mornings, it's stress, and it's putting so much time on it in the evenings. And if you are doing 75 Hard, I can't tell you enough. You've got to plan out your day, and you've got to be ready to go, and you've got to get this stuff attacked in the morning, even if you have to get up earlier. But it's going to teach you that discipline to get up earlier and start getting this stuff done earlier. And you're going to have so many wins by the first part of the day. It's going to energize you through the rest of the day. And once you get that habit going, you're going to have time to relax at the end of the day. And it's going to make the whole 75 Hard experience better, but it's really going to make your whole life better when you take that lesson and start applying it to other areas of your life. So look, guys, that's all I got for today. Hope there's some nuggets in there for you. Hope you guys have a blessed day.